Welcome, gamers, to Super Beard Bowl Season 2. Each month, we're doing an all-new 8-episode series complete with a beginning and an end, as voted on by you, our loyal viewers. Without paying a single penny, everyone who watches will be able to vote on one of 4 show ideas, and once you narrow it down from 4 to 2, the Beard Bowl Patreon tier will then choose between the top 2 for which show gets made into a full 8-episode series. This month, the winning series is Beard Bros Movie Reviews. Brett, Jirard, and Alex watch and review movies that you guys thought they might enjoy. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. The next public vote begins Monday, October 12th. So until then, just sit back, relax, and enjoy another incredible episode of Super Beard Bowl.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a second season.
By popular demand. Look at that. Look what we've done. We're here
reviews.
At the movies.
We are becoming Red Letter Media and Cinemassacre at the same time.
Look at
the
us.
most passive of movie review people, the Super Beard Brothers.
Well, let's make a video store inside of your house. That would be dope.
Oh man, let's just go rent out a Blockbuster that's falling apart and just eventually.
I think we
take
got
it over.
one option on that. I think.
You know, there's a couple of Blockbusters just like Toys R Us's that like got shut down. That
like Ghost.
They're still paying rent on
Shadow
somewhere.
Blockbusters.
And no one's paid for it. It's still rotting away. We can go there. We'll find the one with like a Pokemon Snap sticker machine that's like decaying.
Newest movie they have is Michael Clayton. Okay. The first movie that we did is a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called Commando.
This is one of those movies where I've seen compilations on YouTube when I was younger of like the best Arnold Schwarzenegger movies that like have these awesome scenes.
Yeah.
And it's pretty intense.
It's insane. Yeah. So this movie is from 1985. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. And also it's written by Jeff Loeb. If you don't know who that is, he's like a really famous comic book writer. He wrote like some of the biggest, like he wrote like Batman the Long Halloween and like Hush, which are like huge Batman stories. So this was like way early in his career when he goes as Joseph Loeb III. But
this is also directed by Joel Silver, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex.
well, produced by
No, who directed it then?
Mark Lester.
Okay. So Joel Silver, if I'm right, Alex, maybe my brain's not working because I just woke up after staying up for Indieland. Isn't Joel Silver the person who directed the Batman and Robin movie?
No, that's Joel Schumacher. But this dude, Joe Silver, is like one of the biggest, like this look of movie, which by the way, I think Commando is like maybe it's like one of the originals to me. Like this movie like decided what this type of movie is like the muscly dude with the gun, but like the 80s, 90s version, you know? But Joel Silver produced Lethal Weapon, Predator, Die Hard, like both. I think a lot of the Predators, like all the Lethal Weapons, just like, you know, huge movies in this like the Matrix, Swordfish, you know, V for Vendetta.
Sean's gonna love that one.
Yeah, Speed Racer, The Nice Guys from like 2016. He's been producing all these movies, so he's like the guy who makes these types of movies in my mind. But I don't know. I like this movie. I you know, Commando is a movie that I have like not seen in 15 years or so, and even then it was like what 10 years old at the absolute earliest.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it's really simple. It's really straightforward. It kind of has almost like I thought it was going to be like Rambo at first, or what's it called, First Blood. You ever seen that?
Is that no? That's First Blood is.
It's the first Rambo where he like shows up in the town and the cops are all dicks, and then he just like straight up starts killing cops. I thought it was gonna be like that type of scenario where, because basically it's the same thing where the general shows up and he's like, if he's out there, your men are already dead. Well, you know, it's like that type of thing. And that's basically what this movie is. Alyssa Milano is somehow Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter, and Arnold Schwarzenegger,
very much a baby, very much a child.
like, she is so young in this that it's like, I was like, is that Alyssa Milano?
I thought it was Millie Bobby Brown for a little bit, and I was like, how did Millie Bobby Brown stay young this entire time?
Yeah. Enola Holmes. Inexplicably, Arnold Schwarzenegger is an Austrian man who works for the U.S. military whose name is John Matrix.
At least he... Yes, John Matrix, or he's credited in as Matrix.
Everybody just calls him Matrix, and the daughter must be Jenny Matrix. If we're going by that logic.
My name is John Matrix, and here's my daughter Jenny Matrix.
My friend Jenny Matrix.
My totally American daughter that's not from Austria.
Jenny Matrix.
Jenny Matrix.
Played by Alyssa Milano.
The thing to go along with that is this movie. I have to say, I enjoyed it as well. I had a good time.
Yeah.
The thing that drove me crazy about this film,
Set completely in my hometown.
What is this shot in San Pedro?
I mean, so much of it. Like, she's literally like, "That's in San Pedro." Like, dead ass.
That's right. And there are scenes in the PV clips where like Arnold is like coming in and like about to like
he's looking super sleek in his bathing suit.
Yeah. The thing that drove me crazy about this film, this is why I thought it was a Joel Schumacher film. Was that this movie does not respect the what's it called? The film lines that are established of like
the reality of the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they like every
I'm right with
like
you.
yeah, like whoever shot this film cinematography wise, there were so many shots that were like flat on Arnold and then flat on the other person, then flat on Arnold, flat on the other person, flat on Arnold, flat on the other person, and then like they do another shot where it's like slightly over the shoulder, but like still flat on Arnold. And you're like, my eyes were hurting because we were moving so much back and forth between these weird shots. And to go along with that, the worst offender of this was there are so many action close-ups that just happen.
Dude, when he's fighting the dude at the end, it's like one punch that he throws. He's like, and it's like it hits the dude like four times. Like four times.
It is so much information. It is so much happening in like one move, and that in the beginning of the film when like Arnold is like, I'm going to get my daughter back, and it's like he's getting ready. He like types in the code and grabs all the stuff. They have that bit from like Batman and Robin almost. That's why I thought it was them, because it was like he pulls out the gun. He pulls out the gun and he goes and like. Did they just insert that shot in the middle of his actions?
Yeah,
but they don't stop him enough. It's
just
like
it's like Edgar Wright, but like not a joke. It's just like really fast editing.
Correct. I mean, because Edgar Wright understands why that's used and embraces it in all of his movies of the close up, the fast action stuff. It's to accentuate action and pacing and to have fun. But this movie, it was as if like the first pass was like, all right, we're going to have footage of Arnold just putting on his gear.
Yeah.
And then when he puts on the gear, we're going to insert
second
the
unit.
Shot.
Yeah. 30 days of shooting just for insurance. Yeah.
Absolutely. And all of them flat, medium to close-ups that are almost identical to the shot of him putting things on. Yeah. It was very eye-grabbing and ruining of the eye.
Also a lot of this going on. Dude, and like a bunch of guys, like 10 guys, all get like sniped in the head from that, like which was like really fun.
I have this bit in my mind that whenever Arnold is shooting a gun, he can't see because the sun's in his face, and every shot is him like this, just praying and spraying. And there's so many scenes you can clearly see that Arnold doesn't have his finger on the trigger. He's just running. He's running, and that flash muzzle is going like, it's as if like I was doing this, and like you see the muzzle just going.
I definitely like don't believe this guy has special forces training. Like, no, he moves like my dad.
I think he just truly has like a Doom 2 early hack mod where he's just God mode. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger in God mode. That's the true nature of this film.
Yeah, exactly. Really quick, let's just go through the story because there's another thing I want to talk about. This does not make sense to me.
Okay.
Basically, the plot of this movie is that Arnold, just like Rambo, he used to just be like this killer, and in this, Rambo's a Green Beret, but Schwarzenegger's like Matrix is like a commando. He literally has the line, "I eat Green Berets for breakfast." Yeah,
and that's like shade at Stallone.
Yeah,
like at that time they're like
Rambo was a lot earlier, but there was already a couple Rambos by this point.
Yeah, and the two of them were already like in their like feud of tricking each other. Like at this point in their careers, there were specific moments where Stallone and Schwarzenegger would do films the other person offered in an attempt to punch down. And they would punk each other by doing bad movies to trick the other person.
The progress bar was like 7% to the Expendables.
Yeah,
like we're on our way. To that story. Mm-hmm, which I would watch that movie, the story of the Expendables. But basically what happens is he's like the head of this group, and all he wants to do, just like everybody, is just get out of the game, right? He's got a daughter. I don't know what happened to his wife. I don't remember if they say, or if he has a wife, or who the girl is exactly. That Jenny
there's never a moment that's like, Jennifer, I'll get you back in honor of your mother. Like, there's nothing like that.
No, they're like hugging a deer at one point. They're like in a mountain house.
Feeding a deer.
Yeah, like painting. I don't know what they're doing. Throwing a ball.
Yeah.
That's how we know they love each other. But somebody is...
That's how love is conveyed.
Yeah, I think like Bill Dukes and a couple other guys are like going around killing all his old like unit guys, and so they kidnap his daughter because this guy needs a political opponent assassinated, so they decide to force Matrix to do it by kidnapping his daughter, not thinking that Matrix was going to spend literally all his time trying to get his daughter back.
And let's be clear, this is 11 hours. In 11 hours, Arnold Schwarzenegger goes from being someplace in the mountains to
that's the whole conceit of the movie, is that he has to fly to this country to do this, and the guy is with him, but he actually like murders the man with his hands sitting next to him on an airplane and dresses him almost like an old lady to try and make it seem like he's not dead. And then he sneaks off the plane, and then he has to like figure out all his shit before 11 hours later when the plane lands and the jig is up.
Speaking of sneaking off the plane, there's this brilliant scene where so the woman, the stewardess walks by, and Arnold just killed the guy, and he puts his hat on him, he's sleeping, and he just goes, "My friend is tired, do not wake him, he's a heavy sleeper."
He says he's dead tired. He says he's dead tired.
He's dead tired.
There's like 5 times he does that in this movie where he actually does like a shitty line like that.
So he gets up and he like walks to go to the bathroom, and it's just like, sir, you can't do this. What are you doing? And he's like, "I'm not feeling good.
I'm air sick.
I'm air sick."
But it's like they're on the ground.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm air sick," and he like says it in a way where he's like, "I'm going to fucking kill you if you don't let me go to the bathroom
on this plane."
And
I'm going to poop my pants.
He goes to the bathroom. Okay, he goes to the bathroom, and the next shot is him like teleporting to
inside the plane.
Inside the plane in the cargo. Like it's implied that Arnold Schwarzenegger, a 6'5", like 255 jacked man, like somehow teleported from the bathroom to the cargo bay of the ship.
He goes through like a piece of paper at one point. He like rips a paper down, but he gets off the plane, and this is where this movie really gets super weird, because basically what happens is the dude that he's following is like super creepy. He's like a rapey kind of dude, right? He's
definitely like, hey, ladies in the 80s.
He's like a sleazy Wolf of Wall Street looking dude, and he is like dogging on this stewardess who's like getting off work, and that's, by the way, that's Radon Chong, by the way, as in Tommy Chong's daughter. Who plays the Cindy in this movie?
Wow.
Yeah, and the way she gets mixed up in all of this is that this guy basically sexually harasses her all the way to her car, and Matrix is like, nice, he's harassing her. I will just let him do it until he gets to her car, and then he like rips seat out of her car for some reason, and she's like, what the fuck? And he's like, and then he sits where the seat used to be, I guess to like be hidden, but he's like, trust me, we have to kill this guy. And she's like, what? No, I don't want to do this. And he's like, you have to trust me or I'll kill you. And she's like, no. And then they go to the mall, and he's like, you need to follow him and tell him that to come over here so I can get him. And then I
love this part.
She immediately goes to the cops and is like, there's a guy like forcing me to do this shit. The cops go after Arnold. Everything goes to shit. They end up escaping together for some reason at this point. She's like, wait for me. I don't know why she would do that at this point. Seems like she wanted him to go to jail. And then she's like immediately on his team and like helping him get his daughter after that, and it's never addressed.
Let's be clear. This woman is a air stewardess, okay? She works for an airline company. She has no formal background in true flying a plane or vehicles, and yet it is assumed.
Well, apparently you learn how to fly a Cessna airplane when you're a stewardess, or maybe she just randomly had that skill separately.
But she's flown so many vehicles in this movie. She's like piloting with Arnold, and Arnold, who's like the eaters of Green Berets, right? He has not, but he like also knows like press this button to accelerate, then we go up. Like, it's very incredible with how quickly this moves. Shout outs to all of the horrible green screening in these moments when they're on the plane, because you can see nothing matches. Like, they're in like a small little Sea-Doo plane that's like supposed to be like a personal yacht, if you will, like for boats. Yeah. Like we're gonna go to the Bahamas and celebrate and stuff, and it's like clearly the inside's like a warplane with like too many computers and buttons, and it cuts back and it's just like like a beautiful like vacation plane.
She also uses a rocket launcher in this movie.
How did you do that? I read the instructions.
Which they get from a army surplus supply store, loaded and ready to go. Which
guys, didn't know if you know this. You can go to Salvation Army in San Pedro and just buy a rocket launcher. No big deal.
4-barrel portable rocket launcher.
Probably for, let's be real, it's probably $65.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
It's not a lot. It's half your size.
Also, for some reason, the whole reason that they get in trouble. Ever. The whole reason that there's any shooting in this movie, other than maybe the one scene with Bill Dukes in the room where he like stabs him through the chest, and like at that point, the only time that cops ever show up is because his plan for getting into this store, the Commando, the fucking guy who eats Green Berets for breakfast, his plan is to drive a fucking tractor into the front of the store to like rip off the whole front of the building, which is obviously why the cops show up. You know, like he could have just busted in there with a lockpick,
cops,
or one of the guns like that he already had, you know, and just shot his way into the door, and probably nothing would have happened. But instead, he gets arrested, and this stewardess takes it upon herself to fire a rocket launcher missile at a cop car to get him out, and they escape. He lives somehow, which I'm blown away by, and they escape. And I get that it's like a crazy action movie, but I don't understand why she tried to turn him in if they didn't even ever address it.
That's the thing that drove me fucking crazy, that I never ever understood is, and Ted was with me when we watched this movie, and the thing that blew me away the most was like the non-romance romance that took place in this film, right? It's like clear that like,
did they kiss?
No, they never kiss. They never have a moment where they're like, we're going to make love. None of that. Let's be real. The best, the scene that did not need to take place, but it took place because we needed to wrap at the beginning of the film. Was when Arnold, the stewardess, are in the hotel room and they're trying to rest for the next night, and they get attacked by his that assassin guy who like murdered everyone in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, Bill Duke.
Bill Dukes. And then like there's this, we can't show this on YouTube. There's like they like fight each other and they burst through like the other person's room.
Yeah, two people fucking.
Just two people having sex. And the best part is, guys, if you're at home and you're watching this movie, first off, this woman has massive boobies. Like they don't
like
need this.
Porn star boobies.
Yeah, it's very much like, whoa, what's going on? Just look at the dude in the bed who's watching everything take place, because it's as if he was laughing the entire time. Like every shot is him being like,
Yeah.
like Arnold Schwarzenegger is killing Bill Dukes while a beautiful naked big titted woman is on top of him.
They're just
screaming,
kind of
and he's like, yeah.
I'll see how this shakes out.
So, yeah, and meanwhile the students is like screaming too, like trying to help him, and they're fighting, and just that dude's my favorite. It's the curly haired guy who's just like it's so unnecessary and good.
2 questions. Was that Bill Paxton?
No,
I think
Bill
it was.
Paxton Bill Paxton was established at that point. No way.
I'm pretty sure that was Bill Paxton. We can show the clip.
No way.
I'm pretty sure he was the radar.
It was.
Remember when he's like on the radar and he's like, "Hey, you guys seeing this? Like, what's the deal here?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is my favorite part of this movie. I thought the baddest ass part of the whole film was like in the first scene where they jump him at his own house, and they're like those other soldiers are there. That guy like gets his throat slit really quick so he can fall out the door. Remember that scene? And then he's at the top of the house in his like bedroom, and he's like, "Cindy," and the guy's like, "Cindy's not here. And you're going to have to listen to me if you want to know how to get her back." And he's like, "No." And he just shoots him right in the fucking head. And I was like, what the hell? But the only other question I have about this movie, don't worry about Dan Hedaya, who I believe is like Lebanese or Jewish, playing this like weird like Scarface guy. But
those are the roles that he got before he like became the funny guy.
Absolutely.
Or he became the father from Night at the Roxbury.
Right. But what about the fucking Australian guy? Was that guy scary to you at all? His outfit was weird. Was he wearing chainmail?
Oh, okay. This dude, the whole if you are Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone and you have like a rival, right?
Yeah.
If you have the Incredible Hulk, you've got the Abomination, right?
Right.
If you have Captain America, you've got Red Skull.
Yeah, sure.
You've got a protagonist who is ripped in shape, like very confident, very going to save the world, and you have the antagonist who's like scummy, evil, but also like the same character size. This Australian character, like never worked out. Like isn't really like
he looks
used to be
schlubby. He looks kind of like he might have a heart attack soon.
Doesn't really like is wearing like literally 80s like fake chainmail. He's like the leader of like the security guards for these guys, and he's just like creepy and like
he's supposed to be as good as Arnold, except he looks like he just drinks Bud Light all the time.
He's very like feminine in a way too, and not that that's a bad thing. Not that I'm like. It's more like it doesn't make sense for this character.
I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's about.
And I don't know like his beef with Arnold like is just weird. And like when in the final scenes of the movie, Arnold's just like, "I'm still better than you. Put down the gun."
He uses the Force basically to make him not kill him.
Yeah. The best part is that like that's my favorite part. Okay, so. First off, the best part of the movie is the 35-minute action scene of nonstop action where
they're trying to put each other's head in the fire.
Not even that.
Oh.
It's right before where Arnold kills like
every person.
The same 300 people at this compound. Like
a lot of fake guys actually in the explosion shots.
Fake. There's like it's like Latino Mexican dudes, and then like there's a bunch of like white dudes who look that way with like shitty fake mustaches.
Yeah, like
the guys who are doing the flips off the grenades that are exploding everywhere. It's the same like 8 stunt people who are like running full throttle and like exploding and flipping
and mannequins.
And mannequins, yeah. Shout out also to the fact that when you watch this movie, every action scene has like 8 reused shots.
Yeah.
That is so fascinating. There's a shot where Arnold is running away from the buildings exploding, and they're exploding, and he like runs and looks back, and they explode, and he's like running. They use that shot, the exact same shot, 3 times of him running, looking back. And what they did is that in all 3 shots, they added visual effects in post and in practical to make it look different. But the shot is the exact fucking same.
It's the same exact shot, literally. You hate to see it.
Anyways, when he finds his daughter finally. It's the climax of the movie. He's with the weird Australian guy wearing the chainmail, and he's got a gun. Arnold's injured, and he's gonna kill Arnold with it. And Arnold's like, "Hey, put down the gun. Fight me like a man." And like, yeah. And Arnold pulls out the massive knife that's bigger than his arm. And literally, Arnold's like, "Come on, fight me, pussy." And his daughter's right there, like, "Yeah, Dad, like,
Get him.
just like, get him." Like, the entire time, Arnold's like, "I'm going to fucking kill you, take your house and your family, and murder everyone you know." And his daughter's just like, "Yeah, Dad, like, do it, Dad, do it." I'm just like, okay. I'm not saying that I wouldn't react that way if that was my daughter and I would like go in there and murder the dude that like kidnapped her and it's like a former friend of mine of like 10 plus years.
Totally empathetic about it.
But there's got to be a little common ground of being like, maybe we shouldn't like traumatize your own daughter in this like climactic scene in the movie. And then like he essentially like gets murdered in front of her. And
in the greatest, one of the greatest kills in any movie, where the pipe goes through his body and he dies, but also it's like into a boiler, so like steam is like shooting out of the other end of the pipe. Very good stuff.
And he says something, wasn't it like, like I hope you cool down and steam off or something like that.
Let
right?
off some steam.
Yeah,
Bennett.
let off some steam. Yeah. Hey Bennett, let off some steam. Yeah. Also, this is in the 80s, so literally there is a scene in the film where Arnold Schwarzenegger tells someone, "I'll be back."
Dude,
and
he says "I'll be back" in so many more movies than I thought he did. And it's from the Terminator.
Yes.
But he uses it all the time. Or he'll say like, "I'm back." Like he'll like do a sequel to his catchphrase. So weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, the last thing before
I'm about to come back.
Yeah, I will be back soon. We gotta go. I like this movie. 4 out of 5 stars, I think, for me. I don't know how you feel about it in a star way. I'm a very 4 out of 5 stars.
I'd give it a 4.
It's a little too shitty not to like at least mention that it's a little shitty. But
you have to accept the fact this is an Arnold movie from the 80s, and that like there's a certain level of quality that's really shitty. Like the blood's not real.
Right.
Like overacting, like grenade, like a rocket launcher that blows up everything. It's very over the top, very adult for the 80s, but it's also very funny to laugh at nowadays.
Yeah, and also Bennett is the villain in Power Rangers Time Force. I just dropped it in the chat if you want to take a look at what he looks like. It's not as good of a movie as all that, but in this review of it, watching it, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 because it's the Egg McMuffin defense, right? It's like, I know an Egg McMuffin sucks. I know it's like if I compare it to eggs and sausage made,
but it's a classic.
Yeah, like if you can't compare it to a French cafe's egg and sausage, but
correct
here in the context of kind of crappy 80s movies with muscly guys in them, it's one of the movies.
Favorite, we have to go. Favorite single shot in the film.
I have to say it's got to be the bikini, the Speedo shot where he stands up in the boat and there's like a shot where he's like rowing towards the camera. Super fucking weird. And at that moment in the movie, I was like, I sure am watching Commando.
The best part about the end of that shot is that it cuts to like him getting on the beach. Totally a stunt double wearing different colored shorts.
Yeah.
He's wearing like Arnold is wearing a black Speedo in the boat. Cuts to like a dude who looks nothing like Arnold pulling the boat onto his short, and he's wearing gray like boxer briefs.
Yeah,
it's
literally.
like clearly not the same person.
Definitely not the man.
My favorite shot has to be when Arnold is hiding in the tool shed towards the end of the movie, and he grabs a buzzsaw and he throws it like a ninja star
and chops that dude's head off.
And it chops the dude's head off. That was literally one of my inspirations for my Where's Waldo movie, where Fraser and I broke a CD and threw it like it was a ninja star, and it like cut a victim's mouth.
And to be clear, when I say chop the dude's head off, it did not chop his whole head off. It chopped just like
apart. It was like it hit this, and then like the rest of it went.
Hilarious.
Guys, thank you for watching.
You should watch Commando. Yeah.
It's a classic. It's a classic. You have to watch it.
You should watch it
if you're old enough. If you're not old enough,
it's a little misogynistic. Guys, it's from the 80s. It's fine. Just give it a watch.
And that's the thing I will say. On a final note, everyone in this film every guy in this film acts like they've never seen a woman before.
Yeah.
Every single woman is like getting hit on.
They're
And
like,
it's just
oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah, even the cops are like, hey, it's like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
what is wrong with
It's
all
wild.
of you?
It's wild.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Peace out.
We'll see you soon. Enjoy the next video. Bye.
See ya.
Oh! You won't go waggity sex no more. Waggity sex.
Kill that man.
No.
Why not?
You
I can just take an elevator.
No more. Waggity sex.
It used to be wackety sax.
Waggity sex. Waggity sex. Waggity sex.